I approached this video a little bit differently than I normally would. I allowed myself to do this a bit unscripted, and the thing I appreciated when my professors would do something like that is it allowed me to see how they handled problems. Obviously, there is a few splices in here because I went off on tangents for a couple hours trying to figure out why something worked or I took breaks. Let me know down in the comments if this is something that you appreciated or if you didn't like it. I don't mind going back to a more scripted format. Enjoy.
Okay, so we're just going to pick up right where we left off. It appears that I made a little bit of an error somewhere. I'm getting flagged for the height ignored. It's the same thing that we just fixed, so I have to fix it again, but in our rule set. So basically, it's this height. It's not needed. So let's remove it and reload and see what happens. Console, open up Bob the Dob, notes. Okay, that error is gone. Cool. Let's move on. Party sheet. So the XP, I want to be able to take this and have it distribute to everything else. Let's look up the word award. That seems like something that's going to be a little bit rarer. So Control Shift award. Boop. There we go. So I found it again here on the strings MoreCore. I'm going to trace down its label. And I see that it's used two places, which totally makes sense because it's here and here, probably using the exact same code and everything. So let's go ahead, and it looks like this one is anchored to Quest. I'll just jump to it. And so we're going to utilize this. All right, so it's not named. When something doesn't have a name, it's really hard to manipulate it from an external resource. So we're going to have to get creative and figure out another way to do this. We see that there are things on this page that are named. Looks like this is anchored to quests. So let's go ahead and I guess do the same thing that we did last time. We're just going to copy this file over and delete a lot of stuff out of it that we don't need. You can rebuild it. I'm lazy, and so this is how I handle it. Feel free if you feel that you have a better way. Do whatever feels best for you. All right, let's wipe out the script. Sheet data. Okay, so I'm looking for anchoring to quest. Where's the button? Here it is, button text. Cut. Close up the sheet data, close up all of these things. I don't think we're going to need all of this. I think all we need is just one window class, a sheet data, and then we could put our own stuff in between. So let's kill these others. And let's paste what we have in here. Okay. Now this one, we do need a merge. If we don't merge, what's going to happen is this extension will take over PSXP. So everything else that's on that page will go away. And we don't want to do that. We just want to join and make a change. So let's go ahead and name our button text. We'll call it button award. Sure. And then I want to basically leave it the same. So we're not going to utilize that. Actually, we might not even utilize this script. But let's just see if this even shows up. Oh, remember, we have to include this. So go over here, Control D, bring it in. Reload, bring up your console, bring up the party sheet, go over here, click award, boom, it worked. Excellent. So this is down the right path of what we need to do. Next thing, we need to figure out what was happening before. So here it was function on party press, so party manager 2. What is party manager 2? Let's go find it. Party manager 2 is part of this manager PS to Lua under scripts. Manager PS2, okay. So there's a decent amount of stuff that goes on in here. Well, go back to this. And the only thing that's actually happening is award quest to party. Cool, so maybe we could just replace that. What does that look like? Node entry. It's doing stuff. So it does some things. And then it says award XP, which, okay, I find down here. It does some more things and ends. There's a lot going on. So what do we always do? Copy and paste. Let's go make a script. New Lua file, call it award XP, and let's copy and paste this stuff in. So I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to copy that as well. A lot of this we're not going to use, but let's kind of just go through what's happening here. First, what is node entry doing? So let's take a look at that. And then back over here, let's delete this script. We don't need this. What we're going to have instead is cool. And then, yeah, let's reload. It's probably going to fail because we don't have all the words and stuff that are needed. That's okay. We're just trying to figure out what one thing is. Cool, nothing is happening. So obviously we are doing something wrong. So it doesn't know what it's calling. So what we should do, load this back up, see what a button does. So on pressed, yep, that looks like what a button does. Are there other buttons? Button field. No. Yeah, on button pressed. Let's take this and we'll put it here. Now when we reload, something should happen. Probably nothing good, but that's okay. We're learning. So open up your console so you can see node entry, nil. Okay. So what if I uncheck this and I hit this? Node entry, still nil. All right. It did do something, but it's not really doing anything. Okay, so it's failing out. That's fine. It's kind of expected, to be honest. All right. So because that's nil, if node entry, so that all is moot. We can take just this section. Now, I'm uncertain if it's useful for other reasons that aren't presented here, but for what we're trying to build, we don't need that. We can just take this for loop out. Now we got to ask, what does this for loop do? It looks like this for loop goes through, and if any of them, if XP awarded does not have a value, which means it's not checked, then it's going to add that to NXP. It's going to take the value that's in this field here, and it's going to load that to NXP. So let's just verify that that's true. You could add a debug here and go through a lot of this stuff, but sometimes just seeing the output or just following through the code and then just double checking yourself is a lot faster and will keep you more sane. I found myself in rabbit holes before, and I keep digging and digging and digging, and then 5 hours later pass, and I'm like, well, I got nothing done, because all I wanted to know is how something got built. So let's just see what happens. All right, open up my party sheet, open up my console line. Cool, I am going to change this to a 4, hit award, NXP gets the 4. I'm going to have 4 and 2 open, so I'm expecting a 6. NXP gets a 6. Cool, something's happening. People are getting values. Okay, neat. Let's go back. So that's working. If it's 0, then it doesn't go on to award NXP, and then it just stops. Okay, that's fair enough. Award NXP. We have a local party. And then it looks like it goes through here and it's... Okay, so what this is doing is we're a party, and at the end of this, we could just do a... And I have a theory of what this is doing. My theory is that this is gathering up all of the party members. So I'll be able to tell by this if my theory is correct. So a party. Um, Sometimes it gets cut off here. I like to keep a little notepad. So yep, that's what it's doing. Number 1, plop. Number 2, 3, and 4. So I can see that it has my and a man, Bob, the Dob, Carrie the Dairy, and Dylan the Villain. So not in the order that I expected it to be in, but that's okay. It has everybody. So it's gathering them all up and it's putting them into one name. And then it's determining the split. Well, this part we don't need anymore because we're not splitting. We want the full amount to go out. So let's go ahead and comment this out. The shortcut for that is Control /. If you press it again, it uncomments. If you do Control Shift /, it will comment sections. So Control /, get that all knocked out. Now average split, that's being used. So let's clean that up. This is for if we're still splitting. We're not. In amount. What we can actually do here is just take the NXP and replace it with in amount. So we don't need any of this. In amount. There, there, there. So I just press Control F there, and nope, I don't see an amount being used anywhere else. And before we do any kind of cleanup or anything, let's just see what happens. All right. I want to see everybody's XP go up by 4. So 11, that should be 15, that should be 18. Sweet. So that looks like it's working. If I press award again, nothing should happen. Cool, because it's 0. If this was 1, and I click, everybody should go up by 1. They did. They did. Looks like we have a working solution. All right, but I'm not quite done yet. So we go in here, and we destroyed a lot of stuff. So that out. Plop. Okay. This is looking pretty good. Local average split, we don't need that. We got rid of that name. Don't need that. In here, because we would have never gotten this far. When they were splitting it, that makes sense, because if you took a number that was smaller than the group, it could be 0. So yeah, I understand that. You can either leave this or kill it. I'll just leave it. It's not hurting anything. There. This looks good. Let's try it, make sure we didn't break anything. Everybody should get 1. They did. Everybody should get 6. They did. Great. Quest. I don't want this to read quest anymore. I want to change this to read game sessions. So let's go back over to here and let's go look at it in its original rule set. Alright, so the label for quests. Well, quest search. So here's the string for it. Nope, I'm wrong. PS label quests. All right. So it's used right here. Oh. Well, since it's not named, again, I can't mess with it outside. So here, let me show you something that's actually happening with the code. This is here, but actually all I'm doing is I'm laying a button on top of the old button. I can prove it. If I offset this, it should be good. So, see, this is my button here. This is the original. And all I'm doing is I'm sneakily putting it on top. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing. So I'm breaking in real quick here. I am sure there is a way to manipulate the DOM when an element is not named. I have yet to figure that out. But if somebody has figured that out, please note it down in the comments. I would love to either do a video on it or see a video on it. All right, let's jump back. But I can't just throw a label on top. That just probably wouldn't look good. Let's see what it does. Sure, that's what I'm going to call it. Game sessions. I want to anchor it. Anchored to, I'm going to also anchor to quests. Actually, you know, I might be able to just, what is this doing? This is exactly what I want. Remember the good old rule of thumb, just copy and paste. So my naming scheme, usually I put what it is first and then the name that I want to use for it. And I want it to be in the exact same location because I want it to cover it up. My static text I'm going to want to change. PS label, I'll call it game sessions. And then I'll go back over my strings. I'll add a new string, Control D. Game sessions, cool. And let's just see what happens. I know it's going to be a mess. That's okay. Yep, so I have game sessions over quests. We can't see quests. So That's what I could do, is I could just come in here and, I don't know, make it 30. And there, game sessions quest. I don't really like this, and I'm kind of petty. So here, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piece of the screen. By the way, if you're using Windows, Windows Shift S does a screen capture. And then I'm going to open up my paint.net, paste it. Yep, I'm going to call it image cover up. Good enough. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add this into here. Picture here. Now I've done this before, so this is how I find it when I need to remember. These little things that I do. I call it template, and I highly recommend that you start doing this as well. Just when you build something new, a new object, put it on a character sheet or put it somewhere on this single template so you can go in there and you can shop for exactly what you need. So on my new page, I should have a, there we go, generic control icon. And I'm going to add it in here, change the name obviously. We'll call it image quests cover up. And the icon, I need to add into here. So Control D, and I'm going to take my image cover up. And I'm going to call this image cover up. Oops, where was I? Put it here. I'm going to anchor it to quest. Actually, I'm going to follow the same exact anchor for game sessions. Quest above, and that was at 20. And then I need its width or height. I've worked with this before, and sometimes I'm just throwing in a default number here. On some pages, it complains about there being a height. On some other pages, it complains about there being a width. So I just add them both, and I see what the console gives me, and go from there. Image cover up. This is a 60 by 22. So I'm going to enter that in. 60 by 22. So it's the full image. We'll just see what happens. Maybe it's too big, and I might have to make it smaller. And then I'm going to put this back at 20. So, yep, I want the image first, and then my label. If I did it in reverse order, this would go behind the image. So let's see. Cool. I'm hiding the quest, and it looks like it gets annoyed that there's a width. Technically, the error does not hurt anything, but I like to keep things as clean as possible, so when I'm doing other stuff, I know what is and what is not messing it up.
So that was it. That's my tutorial on how to revise MoreCore to do a XP awards system. Again, no coding was ever actually needed to have MoreCore do the things that we needed it to do. But with just a little tweaking, I believe that this creates a better user experience for people who are running World of Darkness or World of Darkness type games, and where the XP is more like a currency. I hope you got something out of this. I have no idea when my next video will be, but I'm going to load all of this to the GitHub so you guys can give it a try yourselves. If you have any questions, or if you know something better or a better way to do something, put it in the comments. I would love to read it. Maybe we could release a video in the future showing a better method. Until next time, keep gaming and keep developing.